So another question was Elran's question. I know that it might be too early to ask, but what happens to the cube? Does it stay in my OLAP server? How can it be deleted later by the user who built it? So no, if you have permissions to this analysis services, you'll be able to see this cube, and you ahead of time you define where the cube will be, which server will we use. The user does not have permission for this same cube for deletion or change the structure of it, but you do. So you can go to the cube. You can just click on the cube and delete it if you want, and you can also change the properties of it. So a workaround, for example, for making a distinct count will be opening the cube in the Visual Studio, and then create a distinct count of one of the measures we would like to do. Okay. Another question was JSON's. Can we add incremental data to the models? If yes, how? So by saying incremental data, you mean that you have an Excel file, and this Excel file, for example, is changing, and you want to add this changing data. So first of all, someone will have to load this Excel file to the server itself every time it changes. And doing that, saying that, I mean that with the data source definition, you can just click on the data source definition, like I did here, like I made here. And then after clicking a data source definition, I'll be able to load the same Excel file again, and then the cube will be processed again. Another option is if you have a SQL table or a view, you can schedule the UDC to use this view and to make the data incremental processing every time you want by schedule it in the database level. So next question is Shalini's question. Cube on the same server and different server. Any difference in performance?
UDC must be on the same
server. So first of all, the thing is that it depends on your traffic. There shouldn't be a problem because Necto does not take lots of power from the machine and the memory and so on. Its demands are very simple, but if you put it on a different server, you have to make sure that the network works fine. It shouldn't be a problem. Sometimes people decide to separate cube from the cube environment from the application environment, but it's not a must. It depends on the traffic, and it depends on the amount of data that you have. Will Microsoft BISM model be supported by Necto? Emil, can you explain?
Business intelligence semantic model.
Ah, you mean to the tabular model? Okay. So if you mean to the new Denali model, and if some of you are not familiar with it, we have Microsoft has a new model which is called Denali. It's a new SQL server. It will go out in 2012, and this SQL server has two options, and you can install two instances of it. One instance will be the regular OLAP mode, which is analysis services as we know today. Another option will be installing a tabular model instance. Now, a tabular model instance can be installed on the same server that the analysis services will be installed, and it really looks like a Power Pivot model. So a bit about the history of it. the power pivot they put on Excel and gave it free of charge was some kind of a test for Microsoft to see if they are on the track. And after that, they made a lot of improvements and changes and put it inside Denali. So if you will download Denali CTP3, which is the which gives a lot of benefits upon Power Pivot. So you'll be able to use Visual Studio in the same environment as analysis services, but you can make tabular models as well. And Necto already knows how to connect to these tabular models. Actually, it is one of the places that Microsoft is checking their product is here in Panorama, because Panorama is very connected to Microsoft. So we are a kind of a QA, a quality assurance place for them. We check this product and we give some recommendations every now and then. So our connection is really tight, and we already know how to load data from there, and we do it very well. I can't show it to you right now, but I might be able to in the next meeting. Just for you to know is that the tabular model actually talks in a different language. We are here in the cubes. If you would like to write a very complicated query or a simple query, but you can't find it here in the as a simple query, as a predefined one, you have to write an MDX. Now the tabular model works with DAX language. Now the DAX language is a language that gives more benefits upon the MDX language, but can also translate. The tabular model can also translate MDX to DAX. So everything you are doing now and you'll do later with MDX, and you can also work with it after Denali will go, and if you will install it, Denali will be able to transfer MDX language to DAX. So actually we will still talk MDX with Denali, but there will be a translation layer to DAX. So so that's a bit of a history. Okay, so now we have another question from Elan. Okay, so about the cube space, Elran, you have we will talk about it online. But actually, what Elran is saying is that we give a user an opportunity to create his own models, but then you will have a lot of cubes in the database that you actually don't know what to do with them. So that's why we want to define a special place for these UDC models, and we have a log that gives you the ability to see which one of them is being used. And then if you see that some of them are not being used in the last couple of months, you can surely go to the same user and ask him if he needs this cube. But you don't have to worry too much for that, because most of these cubes are very simple and light. Okay, Jason is asking if he wants to add data per month for an incremental process. So Jason, it's the same answer as I said before. I'm just repeating it. You have to define you have to load this Excel file to the data sources, like you are loading it here, and then reprocess the cube, or track the schedule of the cube, which you can define manually. Another option is to make an ETL for an SQL Server table or other tables or views. So, Priti is asking, can we embed Microsoft SSRS reports to Workboard? If yes, can we apply Workboard filter to those reports? Okay. So, absolutely yes, we can. What I was saying before is that we also have an option to load Excel files or other sources. So if I'll go to data sources and create new source, I'll have the option to add a reporting services. Now what I'm actually doing is taking all of the data out of reporting services. If I'll click here, and you can try it by yourself, I'll be able to go to the to this data source. Let's call it a name, for example, SSRS. Finish. Then I can give a server path. Now, right now in this demo environment, it's not possible because I'm working in a workgroup environment and I don't have an access to another server that I have reporting services in. But I will try to arrange something for next for next meeting. So it will be much easier to understand. So, okay, let's continue from there. I also have reporting services. I can also load reporting services here. So I can click on this component, drag it over here, and then it will load reporting services as if I was connecting to the link itself. So actually I will see all of the parameters there and the really way it looks like. So that's another option. So first option is taking all of the data out of the report. The other option is just showing the whole data of the report as it really looks like in the link. So other questions were can we add incremental? Okay, so that we answered. And what else? One second. So Tom is asking how its performance. Is there a limit on, for example, the number of records? Image users could potentially load millions of rows, killing performance as the UDC cube will not be tuned. So actually, we recommend that you won't be using more than 500 records in this UDC model because we actually do a very simple cube automatically behind the scene. So that's some kind of a rule, but you can try using it because it depends on the number of columns you have and so on, and the performance of the server. But because of the fact that it's a very simple queue behind the scene, it can be done only for that data. What you can do is making a UDC and then go inside and see how it looks like, and maybe change the way it works, and then it will be able to contain a lot more data. Okay. So let's see the automatic way. The automatic way is much more simple, but you'll see the benefit of using manual way upon automatic way in a second. So I will delete the reporting services, and then I will click another view. Now, if you remember, what we were doing is we created a new UDC model. and we went to the model itself that we have predefined, and we clicked finish, and then the model started loading. What we can do is another option. We have another option of doing it by using, instead of UDC, we can use Excel or CSV, reporting services, or Power Pivot. Now, these options are options for every user to do it automatically without predefining data sources and a model. So let's click on Excel, browse the same file. So I'm browsing the same file now. 1 second. Okay, sheet 1 again, and then finish. Oh, sorry for that. Let's do it again. Okay, so what actually is going on behind the scene is, again, it is building the cube, but then again, it is being done, it is being processed now automatically. So we might not see the same information as we see here, but maybe lesser columns, or not exactly what we want to see. Not exactly the way we want to see it. Maybe the measures won't be the same as we want to, because everything is being done automatically. So what I will have to do right now is do some work on the data. So for instance, I have all of this junk, you see, here, and I have to remove them manually. Okay? So there is a benefit of doing it automatically, because it's nicer for the end user. It's maybe a bit more cozy, but all of this data is being done, is being embedded inside this report automatically. So if I'll click here, maximize, and I have to remove all of this junk again, and I won't see the hierarchy I predefined before, so I will see it only on my second report. I've defined city, country, customer, if you can remember. So in this report automatically created, this hierarchy is not created automatically because the application does not know that this should be a hierarchy. And if I will open, this this same manually report that I created, I can see that I have a hierarchy of country, city, and customer. And if I will click it, I'll be able to see that there is this hierarchy exists here. So I have a problem with my internet connection. Do you hear me well? Yeah, okay. There's a problem in a question overrun if you can control these options by user's role. Meaning, can I decide who has permission to see these options? Which options are you talking about exactly? Can you be more precise? Okay. So I'll close this for a second. Oh, about creating cubes. I understand you do not want to allow a user to create a cube because it gets you more, you don't want him to put data that he wants. We actually now do not want to touch that because we think that users should add data to the system. We might develop in the future the ability for the admin user to control these options, but we feel right that it is better to open these possibilities because users will use it, as we checked and asked a lot of users before we developed this product. We made a big survey on how a product should look like in this field for the end user. So we had a lot of arguments saying that people cannot load its own data. No one can load its own data to the place he works in. So, for instance, if I have a workboard in my scrapbook and I would like to edit, I can edit. And now I see on the same screen, I see two different Excel files and one different cube. So actually, I can put a lot of data on the same sheet. Some of this data is my data, and some of this data is the system data. Okay, Tom is asking, will you also demonstrate using multiple sources in a single workboard? This is very powerful, but I would like to know more on how it works. So, Tom, your question is very good, but this is how it actually works. So, different data sources in the same workboard, and I can also put a browser here if I would like to enter my CRM database. So I can do it as well. I can put something else like Bing.com, okay, and use my parameters to show it. So like I did last time, you can, for example, create a parameter, and this parameter, which we call a navigation component, let's put it here. Let's use this one. And now, say that I want this one to control. Okay. And I want this one to be affected. So, for example, I'll click Insert Placeholder. 1 second. If I'm right when asking a question in Bing, I'll be able to get the link itself. So I'm doing this, asking a question, for example, is, and then I see this is here on the question. So I'm just taking it, and you can use it in every other system that you have. We already showed it a couple of times in this training, I think. And then I'll just delete this ist that I put before, click Insert Placeholder, and change it to one of my parameters. So my parameter is region up there. I'll apply it, okay, and then I'll have a parameter which has actually contains a value as well, but I'll get a different parameter every time I'll check it. So actually, I can also use a parameter for this from a dimension member. So let's take, for example, some other parameter. Just want to show you how many sources can I put in one workboard if I would like. So let's take model product, for example, and I want it to affect. I want its initial value to be all. I want it to be sliced on all views, for example. Okay. Now I want this browser to use this same placeholder. So instead of region, it didn't work well. I would like it to be a dimension member, a model product, or a parameter model product. Okay. And then I'll see all. And if I would like it to be a different one, I can make a different one. 1 second. Okay. I just want to copy it to the right location. You'll be able to see it more clearly. Okay, so in the question, I put product, model product, and caption. So it will bring the caption itself. So the caption is model product, and then when clicking here on all and say BA23, if I have that, I'll get information here. And also this will be changed. So I have a lot of sources. One of them can be, or a couple of them can be some of my inner systems, and I also can put some reporting services and so on. Yes, other questions that I have here. If you have the same dimension in two sources, but with different members, how do the slices then work? Then we have to see if this dimension is not shared between these two cubes, then it won't work on these two cubes. It works only on one. This is the way the OLAP works. Emil is asking, can I have a common navigation component for all the views? So, Emil, this is what I showed here. This model product can be for every view that it connects to. So, actually, if it's not a shared dimension, it can't be for all of these components. But if it is a shared dimension, and it is inside one big OLAP solution that contains a couple of views. So, for example, a customer can be a very good example. It can exist in one OLAP solution that contains a lot of views, and most of these views are cubes are connected to him using fact dimension relationship. So it can affect all of these connections. Last question was Tom. I didn't understand your last question, so please repeat it, and I will answer it shortly. So, okay, we've seen all of these possibilities here. What I would like you to do, actually, another nice thing is that if I click on this button, on the one click inside button, I'll be able to to see all of my data exceptions according to last quarters. So, for instance, let's put all on a grid, so we'll be able to see it much better. Okay, so for instance, I can see that I'm in dropping in February in this model product, and here everything is good. But if I'll click here, and I will change it to something that is -1 than 1%, so I will be able to see that here on quarter 2 I'm on drop in unit sales in quarter 2 against quarter 1. Okay, what I would like you to do right now is to take a break of 5 to 10 minutes. We'll be here, we'll be here in 10 minutes, and then we will start the exercise of doing and uploading a UDC in both ways. So first of all, please load the UDC in the manual way, learn how to do it, and the second way is the automatic way.